Hey, daughters and friends, it's Minister James again. So we're going to jump right in. Last time we talked about choosing a father or father figure for your life, right? So this time we're going to talk about if you have the opportunity to reconnect with your biological father, right? And so I'm going to break this up into a part one and a part two. Because I think it's necessary. So there is a part one of reconnecting with your biological father, which is what you have to do before you say anything to him, right? Before you reconnect with your biological father, you have to start with you. And there are three things that I want you to think about and keep in mind before you even open that door, right? Before you even open that door to reconnect, because sometimes you are given that opportunity. Sometimes it's earlier when you're younger. Sometimes it's as an adult. He comes back into your life in one way or another. And so you are faced with the choice of whether you want him to be a part in your life or not, right? So before you address him, there are some things that you have to address within yourself, right? So these three things I really need you to think about before you even talk to him about reconnecting, right? So the first thing I need you to know and understand is there is never a good enough reason why he wasn't there. So don't expect one, right? Because the first thing that most children, not just fatherless daughters, but fatherless children in general, want to know when they have the chance to confront their absentee father is, why weren't you there, right? And I will never tell you not to ask that question, because that is a question that needs to be asked, and that is a question that he has to answer for. Why weren't you there? That is definitely a question he has to answer for. But I need you to be prepared to the fact that there is never going to be an answer that's going to make you be like, oh, that's what you was going through? Oh, okay, I understand why you wasn't there. It doesn't exist, right? So I'm a father, and I can't even think of a reason that I could give my daughter of why I wasn't in her life if I wasn't, right? So I can't even fathom a reason that would be good enough for me to tell her why I wasn't in her life that would make her be like, oh, that's why you wasn't there. I get it. It doesn't exist, right? So since we know that it doesn't exist, let's not look for it, right? But we will ask the question, why weren't you there? Because he has to answer it. So you have the right to ask the question, and you have the right to hear what the answer is. But just know ahead of time that it's not going to be an acceptable answer that you're going to be like, oh, okay, I understand. That's not going to be. So let's make sure we go in, first of all, with that understanding that the reason why he wasn't there will never be good enough that it will heal or make you think about it's acceptable for him not to be there. That's number one. Number two, this also starts with you, and that is you have to forgive him for not being there, right? So after he gives you the reason, whatever that reason is, whatever that unacceptable reason is of why he was not there, you have to choose to forgive him for not being there. And please understand that when I say forgive him, it has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with you. Because if you don't forgive him for not being there, then you'll never be able to truly receive him now that he is here, right? So if you can't forgive him for the hurt that he caused in the past with his absence, then you'll never be able to fully receive whatever it is that he's bringing in the present, right? So love and hate cannot occupy your heart at the same time. Love and resentment cannot occupy your heart at the same time. So if you made the decision that you're going to reconnect with him and you're going to allow him back into your life, then you have to firmly make the decision and make the choice to forgive him for not being there, right? So that from this point on, I forgive you for not being there. I forgive you for being absent. I forgive you for everything that happened to me when you were not in my life. And from this day forward, I will judge you and hold you responsible for everything that you do here, from here on and into the future. But you have to truly and honestly forgive him for not being there. Forgive him for the things that you experienced. Forgive him for the hurt that was caused by him not being there. Forgive him for the trauma that was caused from him not being there. And I believe me, I understand that that's a big pill to swallow, because depending on what happened to you in his absence, there may be a lot of things that happen, right? You may have been abused. You may have been molested. You may have been, just feeling abandoned by every male that has come into your life, right? Or choosing the wrong men because of the reflection that you think of what it is a father is supposed to do, or a father is supposed to provide, and trying to fill those voids, and then you realize that he can't do it, or the example that he set was not an acceptable example, right? So you have to choose that no matter what it was, no matter what it is, if you're even able to forgive him for not being there. And if you're not, then I would suggest don't even reconnect with him. If you can't truly forgive him for not being there, don't even waste your time trying to reconnect with him, because it's only going to cause you more pain. And it'll cause you more pain and emotional pain, because you will constantly fight with yourself, with the guy that's in your life now, who may be a good guy, who may be trying his best to be a better father, right? But you will fight within yourself. How do you accept the man that's a good father now while still hating the man who was a bad father in the past? So there will always butt heads, on your inside. So you have to make sure that you can, and before you ever talk to him, that you do make up in your mind and in your heart, I forgive you for not being there, before you even go to reconnect with him, right? So the third thing is, decide what it is you want to accomplish by reconnecting with him, right? Just don't give him free reins in your life, like, oh, daddy's here, come on in. No. What do you want to accomplish? Because sometimes sometimes you may reconnect with him when you're an adult and you have kids of your own, right? So now you might not need him to be a father to you, right? You're grown now, right? So, but you might want him to be a grandfather. You might want him to be a better grandfather to your children than he was a father to you. But only you can make that decision. But it should be predetermined. What role, or for what reason do I feel is necessary? Or what reason do I just want to reconnect with my biological father? And what role do I want him to play in my life now, at this moment? So those three things I really need you to think about before reconnecting with your biological father. I need you to realize that there will never be a good enough reason of why he wasn't there, right? That's number one. Number two, I need you to honestly and fully forgive him for not being there. And number three, I need you to decide what reason or what is it that you want to accomplish by allowing him back into your life at this time. Okay? So again, this is Minister James. Thank you for allowing me to walk with you on this journey. And I just want to say I love you. I'm praying for you and look forward to seeing you next time. All right? Be blessed.